Welcome back. We're here with Pete Tonelli. He's a candidate for mayor. We're talking to him about some of the economic plans, and we're going to get into education now. I know we got into a little bit. Let's dive back into education, because education is very important. Our poverty level is pretty high, and I think a lot of it is related to education. So everyone wonders, well, what's this mayor going to do for me? What's that person going to do for me? If it's this legislator, they always wonder, how are you going to pass legislation that affects me and my kids and all that? Talk a little bit more about the education, how you can improve one's life vis-a-vis the education.
Well, Energize Albuquerque includes an education component. And what I envision are education corridors where we're working with the University of New Mexico, we're working with CNM, and we're also working with APS, making sure that the students that graduate from these institutions are prepared for the jobs for the future. Whether it be in high-tech level jobs or other types of industries. But we have to make sure that when we promote Albuquerque and we try to make these investments in our community and we go after new industry, that we're making sure that we're responsive to those new industries that we're attracting to the Albuquerque area. CNM has been at the forefront of doing that very issue, where they have proven themselves to be very capable of responding to the demands of a changing workforce. And the way they do, a good example, for example, was Eclipse Aviation.
Correct.
They were able to put into place a program for training individuals to build airlines or to build planes. And again, it gets back with identifying the type of workforce we're going to need for the future, making sure that we work with the CNM, UNM, as well as APS to make sure that we're educating and we're offering the type of education that we're going to need to prepare these students for the jobs of the future.
Intel is the largest private sector employer there besides Ethicon, I think. Intel is downsizing, has been downsizing. And one of their complaints has been, we can't find enough of the skilled laborers that we need, because you need skill to go out there and build those microchips, microprocessors. So how do we focus on that particular sector itself and have enough individuals, if Intel is willing to expand? And a lot of times they weren't expanding because of the single sales factor. Now they're saying, okay, we want to expand, but we can't fill these jobs because no one is here to fill them.
Well, you just identified what I'm talking about. It's having a mayor that's going to show the leadership capable of reaching out to these institutions, working with them to see how he as mayor, how I as mayor can help them, making sure they get adequate funding from the legislature, as well as working on areas where we can have, for example, joint powers agreements, or for that matter, joint use of facilities. And it's a matter of the city being able to use its resources that are available to it to work with our education systems to make sure that the type of kids that are making sure that the education that is being provided are in fact preparing our students and our children for the type of jobs we're trying to attract to the Albuquerque area.
And it has been a difficult task, because the last 20 years, I noticed, ever since Intel came in, they always complain about that we don't have enough individuals here, so we have to. If you look at Intel in Arizona, they're expanding there. They have hired a lot more people there. You look at Oregon, they're hiring a lot more people there. And here they're cutting back from 5,500 down to 3,300.
Well, again, when you talk about these types of expansions, these don't happen overnight. These expansions occur after 5 or 6 years of careful study as to what direction they're going to go in. That's why a mayor with his SALT is going to work closely with the business community, find out what their future needs are, what their future plans are, and identify what type of education and what type of students are we going to have to produce in order to accommodate the new jobs that are going to be created. It's not thinking about the day it happens. It's thinking about what are their overall plans and being able to work with the business community. And I think that we need a mayor that's going to be able to show the type of leadership that I'm talking about, that's going to turn the economy around and identify that very type of work.
Would you, as mayor, if you're elected, would you want to sit down with some of these larger corporations like and then actually sit down and talk to them and try to come up with because they have certain things in mind and they always try to keep that from us, and we always wonder, well, why are we falling short? Would you want to sit down with them as mayor and talk to them and see what we can do as far as filling in some of those jobs there?
That's what that is exactly what economic development is all about. Reaching out to the business community, reaching out to new companies that are coming into. But also we have to cater to the small businesses that we're already here, because it's also key to make sure that government is working for them. And making sure that government gets out of their way to allow them to do their small businesses, where government does not become an impediment. And The way you do that is making sure you streamline government and also find out what incentives that we can offer. You know, a mayor, to me, also needs to use the bully pulpit to be able to work with the legislature to go to Santa Fe and say, we need to advocate for our children. We need to advocate for a better education. We need to advocate for more monies for our school system and get behind our teachers. And that's part of what I would do as mayor. And again, what you've had thus far for the last 3.5 years is failed leadership. There's absolutely no hands-on approach whatsoever when it comes to economic development by this mayor. And as mayor of Albuquerque, I'm going to be promoting this city 24 hours a day. And I really believe that you need to reach out to the business community, make some travels, do some traveling, and identify new industry to come to Albuquerque.
Okay. Let me end this segment here. This is our part one, and then we'll come back and we'll start. We'll get into safety, public safety, and things of that sort. Okay. So we'll come back with you in the next episode here. We'll be back. This is the end of our part one, and we'll be back with Pete Giannelli. He's a candidate for mayor. Thank you for watching.